Welcome back to another episode of Whiskey Riff Raff. I'm Shelby.
My name's Quinn.
And it's been a while since we've actually been behind the mics.
Yes.
I know we've been releasing some episodes, but we haven't talked about what's going on in country music.
Right, and there's a lot going on. And we've experienced firsthand a lot of different country music and concerts and such. So we are finally getting an intro before our interview with Aaron Watson.
Yes. So a couple of things that we also got to experience together. Well,
that's true.
While we didn't experience Colorado together, we both were in Colorado like back-to-back days and saw Red Rocks concerts back-to-back days.
Yes, I was there for the headlining debut for the Red Clay Strays at Red Rocks. So I think they did 2 shows. I was there the first night, and it was remarkable. My first Red Rocks concert. So I can't say enough good things about the Red Clay Strays. I'm a huge fan, and they did the Red Rocks debut justice for sure. And then you were there a couple of days later for Sturgill.
Yes, Sturgill, who this was not my first time at Red Rocks or seeing Sturgill, but it was definitely one of my most memorable concerts there, as it was 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Wow.
Nonstop.
Yeah, no openers, right?
No opener. He talked a lot, not a lot, but just a lot of jam band, played a lot of covers, and it was just a good time.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
There are some people that would maybe be turned off by, he's still playing. But man, I mean, you get a good jam band up on stage, I'm there for it, for sure.
And what is your official review of Red Rocks as a venue?
I had been there before just to look around, obviously, because it's open to the public and you can run up and down the stairs. So a lot of people doing that. I didn't do that, but it's such a cool. I don't know of anything else that's like Red Rocks. It's an unbelievable place. You have to see a concert there at some point if you're a music fan. And seeing the Red Clay Strays there just kind of felt right? Red Clay, Red Rocks.
Yep.
It all went together beautifully, and it was couldn't have been a better night. I think the concert in between the one that I went to and the one that you went to, there was actually like a thunderstorm or something that rolled through.
Yes.
So I think we both were fortunate that
we had good weather.
We had good weather for Red Rocks.
Because Red Rocks doesn't stop for rain or snow, only lightning. So
that's right. That's right.
Another concert we got to experience together was during Americana Fest. We saw Stephen Wilson Jr. and Charles Wesley Godwin live.
Yes, back to back. And I think I even said this to you while we were there. It was like, I don't know. I mean, Charles Wesley Godwin gives off a little bit of Americana. Stephen Wilson Jr., I don't. I mean, maybe some parts of his catalog, but what he played, the concert that he put on for that, I was like, I mean, I'm super happy that I'm getting to see him, but I didn't know if it could be classified as quote unquote Americana. But
I don't even know what genre I would classify him as.
I think one of the first times I heard someone say something about him, they called him like Death Cab for Country.
Yeah, that's his Instagram bio.
Okay, yeah. So he's adopted that.
Yeah.
That's how it's like. It's indie rock, it's country, it's grunge.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
What'd you think of both performances? Because that was your first time seeing Stephen Wilson Jr.?
It was, yeah. I think it was my second or third time seeing Charles Wesley Godwin, so I always loved seeing him.
Yeah, same.
And Stephen Wilson Jr., I just did not expect the energy that he brought to the show. He was running around stage. He did like a skip. He did like a backwards skip thing that was like freaking me out. Not in a bad way, but just like I couldn't imagine. I can't imagine doing that myself.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to be in pretty good shape. He must be doing some, some squats or something to have that burst backwards and forwards. But I loved everything about his performance, and I think he played his cover of Something in the Way by Nirvana at that show to end things out.
Yes.
And I will say it was like Stephen Wilson Jr. went on before Charles Wesley Godwin, and I think that they got the billing right, but it was just like the energy of his show. It was like, holy smokes, you felt like your hair had been blown back by what Stephen Wilson Jr. did, and then Charles Wesley Godwin came out and did. And his shows can be very energetic as well, but in comparison, it was like 2 different things.
Yeah, it was also my first time seeing Stephen Wilson Jr., and I think it's the fact that he's blown up so much recently, and not enough people have seen him live, so everyone really wanted to see him live, where yeah, you know, I've seen Charles Wesley Godwin 10 times. Granted, I was there to see him again because he's just that good.
Yes.
But it was kind of the hype around Stephen Wilson Jr. And I enjoyed it. I was also just like kind of taken aback, a little confused by how I felt about it. Obviously, it's good and everyone praises his musicality for so many reasons, but it was just different.
He was loud.
Different. Very loud.
But not bad.
No. Loud is not a bad thing.
Yes.
Especially at a show.
Yeah. It was awesome.
But yeah, it was awesome. Americana Fest was a lot of fun. And then we also did Pilgrimage.
Yes.
Which not a lot of country music, but...
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
They had a couple, Turnpike was there.
Turnpike, of course.
And then maybe a couple others that could be like borderline considered.
There was some on like the smaller stages. I saw Sam Barber, which that counted. J.D. Clayton was there. Ben Chapman.
Yeah.
Taylor Honeycutt.
But definitely not. At one point in Pilgrimage... Great festival.
Great festival.
It
very
was very laid back,
the best.
Very enjoyable. A lot of families, people. I saw a lot of kiddos up on their dad's shoulders and things like that. It was fun to see that, just to have that kind of environment. And I remember I walked over and saw their posters for years previous, and years previous there are a lot more country acts.
Yes, the
traditionally.
year I went last time, I know Zach Bryan was headlining. I can't remember who even was the other night, but it's always like a mix of like country and alternative in a sense of like Lumineers and those kind of artists. But your first time saying Turnpike, which is crazy because again, another artist I've seen like 10 times.
Yes, and they were awesome. I mean, the entire experience was really cool that Saturday, because then Saturday was Kings of Leon was the headliner. I'd never seen them. So that's the great thing about festivals is you're able to check off a lot of, I haven't seen them. Let's go to this lineup. Or obviously Sunday was the John Mayer headliner. In my head, I think that's either the 9th or 10th time that I've seen John. But that was your first time seeing John Mayer, right?
Yes, it was my first. And I mean, I would go see him again. I wanted him to play more of his bigger hits, especially because me and you had discussed it of like, he's probably going to play a lot of the hits. And he did a couple, which I was very, very happy about.
He did. Waiting on the World to Change is not one that he plays often.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So...
The first half, I was kind of like, okay, come play the hits. And then there was a part where it just like switched, and then I knew everything moving forward.
Yeah.
So I was happy about that. But sounded fantastic.
And shreds. He absolutely shreds.
Oh, yeah.
That's what, anytime someone asks, hey, should I go see John Mayer? Who's one of your favorite artists? I say, go see John Mayer, and you won't believe how good he is.
I can't believe how many times he switched guitars during one song.
Yeah.
I don't know how many artists really do that. Maybe once they'll do that in a song, but that many times was crazy.
And I was talking to a friend, and you can add in on this if you feel a certain way about it. But it's like there are artists that I've seen where it's like I've seen them 2 or 3 times, and I go like, okay, I think I've seen them enough to like know what this is about. I'm not sure if I need to go see them again. But with John, it's like if he is within an hour, 2 hours, there's a good chance that I'm going to go see him just because his live show is so entertaining. All the things that he does, like you said, the guitar changes. He's funny too. He talks a lot to the audience. I think he's done that more in recent years.
Yeah.
So I just always have a great time.
Good. Love that. Any other live shows you saw?
I think that covered it.
Okay.
I think we discussed all the concerts that I've been to. I got a couple coming up, but we'll save that for next time. Yeah.
Okay. I saw Tyler Halverson, Teskey Brothers, Tanner Usry, Drop Tines. All great shows. Nothing bad to say about any of them. I do need to dive more into the Drop Tines just because they're another one of those artists where like people just love them.
Yeah.
And I need to like dive into their music a bit more. Tanner, I've seen a million times, puts on an amazing live show. Teskey Brothers blew me out of the water.
Really?
Oh yeah. I like obviously love their music, but great show at the Pinnacle. Yeah, just very cool, different than most country shows because they're not country, and it was awesome. So would highly recommend if they're ever back.
I will store that away. Listeners, do that as well. Go see the Teskey Brothers.
Now, because we haven't been on the mics in a couple weeks, I listed in order 8 stories in the order of importance.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
We can spend a little more time on the first couple ones and try kind of just fly through the last ones.
The last before we get into the interview. I like it.
Okay. Number 1 is the new Waylon Jennings album dropped on Friday. Have you had a chance to listen to it yet?
I have. I've listened to a little bit of it.
Okay.
I think it was his. Well, I don't want to say what number studio album it was, but anytime that you get a chance to hear new music from someone who's no longer around, I feel like that's such a cool opportunity. So yeah, I listened through it, and it's like I said, it's just like you feel kind of grateful that you're even getting the opportunity.
Absolutely.
To hear it.
I was driving through back roads in Georgia blasting it when I listened to it the first time, and I was like, I think this is how Waylon would want me to listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I mean, it just came out Friday, but so I needed to listen to it some more.
A lot of new music came out this past weekend.
Music, but I loved it. So I'm sure that'll go high on the rankings. Number 2, which I'm pretty sure you listened to this, is the Red Clay Strays were on Joe Rogan, and they released a new song on Friday as well.
They sure did. I don't want to take credit, but I skimmed through it. I'm a fan of anything that they have to say. I really like just from seeing them at Red Rocks before that even just if Brandon Coleman or anybody in the band says something, I usually want to listen to it just because they're very knowledgeable and they're not a Christian band, but they call themselves a band full of Christians, which I think is really commendable. And yeah, they were on the Joe Rogan Experience, which caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, okay. And those episodes are always so long. There was even a portion where Joe Rogan was talking about some sort of weird surgery and but that's like a typical episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. But as I was saying, I don't want to take credit, but I was like, I scanned through and I didn't break the news, obviously, because Joe Rogan is the one who talked about it in the interview. But I think we were one of the first people to break the fact that they were releasing a new album and releasing a new song that just came out this past week called People Hatin', which is great.
Yes.
Great song. Phenomenal song.
Yeah, I've had it on repeat too.
And
the new album is coming next year, correct?
Yeah. Apparently Joe Rogan's already listened to it, which lucky Joe.
Yeah.
And it's supposedly June. I think they said they were shooting for next summer.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we knew new music had to be on the way, but having a timeline is always nice.
It's nice to have something to look forward to.
Yes.
That's right.
Okay, now we're getting into the weeds a little bit. Okay. I don't know how many times we can talk about Zach Bryan and Gavin Adcock, but we did not discuss the big incident that happened at Born and Raised together.
Zach Bryan jumping the fence
to try to fight Gavin Adcock at Born and Raised Festival.
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts, but I mean, to keep it simple, what a mess.
Does seem like a mess. Shout out to Zach Bryan, though, for climbing over a barbed wire fence because those are designed to specifically keep that from happening.
I think, if anything, he probably influenced people to try it a bit more.
Right. Because I think in people's heads, it was like, well, there's no way somebody could climb over that. And then Zach Bryan did it in a, I guess we're saying some sort of rage fueled incident. And they didn't actually fight.
No.
I think that's important to say.
No, they did not.
But they are like figuratively fighting each other.
Zach Bryan would fight Gavin Adcock, would have fought Gavin Adcock in that moment.
Seems like it.
Had it been allowed. I think there's a lot of back and forth of whether they should have let it happen. Gavin walked away, and Gavin was like, there were security guards there, and I was about to go on stage.
Yeah, I mean, all I'll say is if you're gonna let it happen, charge people money, sell some tickets for something like that. I think that would be the way to do it.
Is something that Aaron Watson has said on Instagram.
There you go. Perfect.
So, yeah, I'm sure they will have to come up again just because they stay in headlines. Yep. But I really think that, if anything, my hatred for Zach Bryan is growing slowly, but it's growing.
I think that's we don't have to get too much into it. Just the fact that I feel like he's giving people a lot of reasons to maybe not care for him all that much.
Yeah, the list is too long.
Yeah.
And I mean, Gavin Adcock as well, very controversial. So whatever. On to the next.
Whatever. We could have just said Zach Bryan and Gavin Adcock, whatever. And then just moved right on. I think that would have saved some time, but we're all good.
Next, sad news. Songwriter Brett James died in a plane crash with his family.
Yes.
So major songwriter. I mean, all the hits that have been on the radio, from Carrie Underwood, Kenny Chesney.
Yeah. If you look up his songwriting credits, you'd be blown away by all the different hits that he can say that were his own. Really sad situation, and they flying from Nashville to the Carolinas or something.
I believe so, something like that.
Yeah, that's a bummer. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. I know that happened. I mean, somewhat recently, but it's been a week or so, I think.
Yeah, crazy and just crazy.
A lot of tributes poured in.
The whole family, a lot of tributes from artists because they all had close relationships with him.
Definitely.
And on a more positive note, the Stagecoach lineup is out, which Stagecoach has to be the largest country music festival, I believe.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be easier to point out who isn't going to be there because
Very true.
It is a stacked lineup for Stagecoach.
And they have everyone, not even country music, involved. So
I saw Journey.
Yeah,
Journey is one of the not the headliner, but one of the main names up on the billing.
Yeah.
So Stagecoach, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yes.
And it's packed full of people.
The one that surprised me, not because they're not country at all, but Hootie and the Blowfish is making a comeback.
That's right. Hootie. If you want to go see Hootie, you got to go. And then like Darius Rucker's doing another offshoot of a 90s supergroup basically. Yeah. So, but cool that he's getting the band and taking them to Stagecoach.
Yeah, no, I'm here for it. I do think that having Post Malone as a headliner now is kind of a bit delayed, as like last year, 2 years ago would probably be peak Post Malone country. But besides that, I mean, Stagecoach is such a good time. I've been probably like 5 times, and I would go back again in a heartbeat whenever I get the opportunity to. Next is Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman divorcing.
Huge news.
Huge news. Any thoughts on that?
Other than the fact that I didn't see it coming, and for some strange reason, like it felt, I was like not a gut punch, but it was like, damn, like they were almost together for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then they split. And I've seen a lot of reactions online. My favorite, I think, being the Nicole Kidman AMC joke was like, heartbreak feels good. In a place like this, that's what plays right before, if you go to AMC Theater, she's sitting in a theater by herself and says that. I don't know if the heartbreak's feeling great. We don't.
It can't
There's still a lot coming out, and from what I understand, like this has been, just announced recently, but this has been in the works for a couple months.
Yeah, I've heard that they've been separated for a little bit, and videos are surfacing of him singing Think of You during his show, which are very aggressive, and like he is going off. But we did find that a couple years ago he was performing it the exact same way, so it does not have a direct correlation between their divorce. It seems like it's going to be a bit of a messy divorce, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
After such a long marriage, so
yeah, and they were like one of those celebrity couples, that had stood the test of time, or at least it seemed like they were going to. So I think that's what makes it a little bit more difficult too for fans that either like Keith Urban or like Nicole Kidman or happen to like both. It's like, well, dang, that's love can't make it with Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman. I mean, come on.
Who can make it then?
Yeah, I know.
2 last stories we're going to just swipe right through.
Sure.
Megan Maroney and Nick Bosa are rumored to be dating.
Yeah, that's an interesting internet mill rumor, and it's just,
2 good-looking people.
Could be true. We don't know. We have no idea.
Or new Megan Maroney music.
Yep.
So one of the 2. And last one, the new Taylor Swift album dropped on Friday.
Yep.
Add to the list of long music.
You're a Swiftie,
right? I am a Taylor Swift music fan.
But
I would not say
I'm
a Swiftie.
Okay.
I don't blindly love everything she does, and especially like says. I am a fan of her music. However, I am quite disappointed with this album.
I've seen a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm not alone, which feels good. But that leads me to my song that is on repeat, because another female album dropped on Friday, which is Cherry Valley by Carter Faith. And it is exactly what I wanted from the Taylor Swift album.
I see.
So my most played song is the title track, Cherry Valley. Amazing. Top to bottom, amazing. Again, her lyrics, like whatever I wanted from Taylor Swift, I got it from Carter Faith. So I don't feel deprived. I'm just disappointed in Taylor Swift.
My most played song from this past week was Wood by Taylor. No, I'm just kidding. It was not. It was not Taylor Swift's Wood. That one's crazy.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Wood is not what this table is next to us.
It's about Travis Kelce, and what Shelby just said should clear that up perfectly. The song that I actually have been listening to a lot is People Hatin' by the Reckless Trees. I'm just excited that new music's on the way. I think it was a very nice touch for them to go ahead and move this, because they said in the interview that they weren't planning on releasing People Hatin' as their lead single, but with everything that's happened, the political divisiveness, the situation surrounding Charlie Kirk's assassination, they felt as though it was the right time to release it. And I think it's similar to Eric Church releasing his song a little bit earlier than he would have with all the Hurricane Helene, I think is. I don't want to get that wrong, but so it's just like sometimes the artists have the music ready and the situation presents itself, and they feel like the least they can do is deliver it at that moment. So I think that's a cool thing for the Red Clay Strays to do.
Yeah, great song. So I've also been playing it a lot. And before we dive into our interview with Aaron Watson, I just want to remind everyone to do all the things on social media, follow, subscribe on our YouTube channel. And, hopefully we are going to keep releasing episodes bi-weekly for, a long time.
That's right. Yeah. Follow Whiskey Riff and Whiskey Riff Raff wherever you can. And without further ado, here's our interview with Aaron Watson.
Aaron Watson, welcome to Whiskey Riff Raff.
Hi.
Welcome back, I should say. I believe you were on it back in the day when Steve and Wes were co-hosting it. It was via Zoom before, so
yeah, it was a while back.
I'm sure you've done many Zoom interviews.
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Of course, yeah, we're happy to talk to you today.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
I'm honored.
And we were just talking about, you're from Texas, you're in Nashville for, I'm guessing, just a couple days.
Yeah, well, I'm here just for a few days. We've got a new record. It's called Horse Named Texas. And, my last, 4 or 5 years have kind of been up and down. I've had multiple vocal cord surgeries. So I'm finally out of the woods, and, I got this new record, and it's like, we're here, talking to booking and radio teams and, just planning, world domination,
As you should.
or at least, making sure that I have the #1 country album in Taylor County back home. So, I have goals.
Yes.
But this album's when we put it out, early spring, it's gonna have 25 songs, and then a year later we'll put out the deluxe with there'll be 15 more, so 40 songs, and I wrote them all, and now I'm just having the time of my life right now. Yeah. So but for the first time in 6-7 years, we're gonna push a single to national radio, and show these young bucks how it's done.
Starting out the interview with a bang, just news of the new album and a deluxe album.
Yeah, I haven't even told anybody that.
I know. Yeah, that's phenomenal news. So
well, thanks. I'm excited.
Me too. I feel like it's been a while. Your last album, I believe, was covers.
Well, yeah, the last one was covers, and that was fun. That was my daughter's idea. She's kind of the boss. So, that the Cover Girl album was a way for me to show Jolie that there are more artists out there besides Taylor Swift.
Fair.
So it was really fun for she and I, to kind of dig in to a lot of my old vinyl records and start just showing her a lot of different artists and kind of digging into the world of songwriters, which those are my heroes. Those are my the songwriters to me are the stars. Like, I don't geek out over, some guy packing a stadium, but I totally geek out over the guy that wrote the songs for the guy. That's kind of how I work.
Songwriters, like, we always have there's terms like your pop star's favorite pop star. They say like your songwriter's favorite songwriter.
Yeah.
Who would you say is your favorite songwriter?
Guy Clark.
Guy Clark. Okay, that's fair.
Hands down.
Yeah.
There's no one greater. There's no one better than Guy Clark. I could say Paul McCartney and all the other guys. There's a lot of great songwriters out there, but for me, I just have, just the old man sitting on a stool singing songs. Those songs are timeless, and they're just, there's been a lot of times in my career where I'm kind of like trying to, find a place, and that I think the thing that always, my compass is like, okay, could I sing this song in front of Guy Clark? And for me, I'm not much like, I don't really care what the mainstream world thinks. And at the same time, there's a lot of these outlaw media outlets, and I don't actually care what they think either. It's like, I just don't. Like, it's my music. I have a fan base that appreciates the songs that I write. You can't make everybody happy, but, and it's so cool. We're here at Waylon's old place. I'm a West Texas boy. I grew up just down the highway from where Waylon grew up, and that's my dad's #1 guy. And, you know, I love those kind of guys' careers, the guys that, you know, they had their ups and their downs, but regardless, music was who they were. And for me, country music is the family business. I mean, I think I'm writing my 20th album, and I think I've probably played 2,500 shows, 3,000 shows. We've had a #1 album. We've had a couple top 40s. I mean, but I don't do it for those. I don't care. I don't really care about awards. I just have so much fun playing shows. Like that is my award.
And your shows are fun.
Yeah, have fun. It's just the greatest thing. I'm always like, every night I get on the bus, I'm like, I can't believe I have a bus. And that's probably because I had to ride around in a nasty van for forever. But every time I get up on the stage, I'm just so thankful. I mean, I'll give you an example. We played a rodeo Friday night in California, and it wasn't the greatest. And I got up there, and I did feel a little disappointment at first, but then I flipped this switch where it's not about me. It's not about my ego or how I feel. I focus on certain people throughout the crowd, and I'm like, they're having the time of their life. And my job is to make them happy, period.
Yeah.
And then the next night, we played another rodeo in Douglas County Rodeo in Nevada, and there's 3,000 people, and I could do no wrong. They're singing every word. And, you know, obviously, I had the time of my life, but it's also work, and you have a job to entertain.
Yeah.
Regardless of how many people are in
Every
the crowd.
single person there, whether there's 50 or there's 50,000, I have a job. And it's easier to be nice and to give them your best than it is to look like a selfish, immature prick.
Yeah.
I know athletes before have said, like, someone out in the crowd has saved up their paycheck to be here, or someone has circled this date on the calendar for months. Like, I'm going to go out there and give
You're
them a
so
show.
right. Somebody may have had the worst week ever, and this is what's gotten them through their week. And that's what I love about country music. I mean, I'm very protective of country music. It's been my bread and butter. I used to say it puts diesel in the bus and diapers on the babies. But I just love it. And it's cool that it's so popular now, you know? I mean, I am dressing the same way I've dressed my whole life. Like, I can show you a picture of me in 1998, and you'll be like, wow, that guy does not evolve. My lack of style has been consistent my entire life.
However, the trends keep changing, and now it is to fit you.
Yeah, now I am a trendsetter.
And now
I'm stylish.
And now the things you probably paid the same amount for, probably jacked up in prices.
Well, I don't actually shop. So, I mean, you can look at these boots. Like, if you see a country artist these days, especially the ones here in Nashville, you should look at the bottom of the other boots. If they look like that, you're like, okay, they've been wearing boots for a while. But there's a billboard I won't name the artist because I actually really like the artist. But I wanted to text him and say, hey, do not ever do a photo shoot where you kick up your boots and the boots are brand spanking new.
Shiny.
Like, go out and
Rule number 1 when you get your boots, you
gotta scratch them up, or you're gonna slide. But yeah, but I love what's going on in Nashville. I love that everybody's like into it now, and it's good for country music. And I also don't have a problem with some of the trendy stuff or whatever. I mean, to each his own.
Well, I feel like we should just dive right into your Tailgate series then.
Yeah. Isn't that ridiculous?
It is, because, you know, people respect your opinion, one.
Thank
I mean,
you.
not everyone online, because people online are just, heathens. But
there are some people that are just wrong.
Yes.
That's right.
But people respect your opinion, and your opinion on, you know, you're paying attention to what's going on. You know, a lot of people are like, I don't care about that. But like you mentioned, you know, you have younger kids who probably care about what's going on too, in a sense, or keep up with trends.
I think it's really good that, like, you know, well, first of all, I've had a couple of very, you know, well-known record executive guys in the last year tell me that I am not relevant anymore. So that kind of lit a fire under me where I'm like, oh, Horse Named Texas is going to be one of the best albums in country music next year. You don't tell this, like, I'm so content and happy with where my career is at. I don't measure myself off awards and hits. But if you want to challenge me, let's go. And also, more important than that, my kids are at an age where they're watching me. And I really want them to see me win. When I tell them, watch Dad, I'm going to win. My boys need to see that. My daughter needs to see that. They need to see me be challenged. They need to see me dig in, work hard, overcome all the adversity. And I've done it before. I mean, independent music now is so celebrated. That makes me so happy. I was not celebrated 10 years ago when my album, The Underdog, made history by becoming the first indie album to go #1. I was not celebrated. Nobody was nice to me. I mean, I got treated like dirt, which doesn't bother me. You literally can't hurt my feelings, you know? I mean, you know, my dad's a disabled veteran. You know, I was raised by a drill sergeant. You can't hurt my feelings. But the Tailgate Talks, it was accidental. The first one I made was, I was at my little gun range that I have at the ranch, and there was the little beef going on between Gavin and Braxton, which I love both those guys. They're, you know, I like giving them, I like throwing the dad stuff at them because I'm not wrong. And I'm not wrong when the advice I give them. The reason I'm not wrong is because I've made all the decisions that those boys have already made. And it's me being a dad going, hey, been there, done that, got in trouble for this, wasn't a good decision. So I'm able to kind of be funny with them and be, in a way, still, you know, loving, kind, and a little constructive. And I think both Braxton and Gavin have what it takes to have very long careers. And I've watched guys come and go, so I feel like I have I look at a lot of things. I feel like their music is good. They have a lot of energy on stage. And people like them. And they are really nice guys. Like, Gavin messaged me on Instagram and was, you know, it was like, hey, thanks for being so supportive of us. I think he said, mouthy ass kids. And I said, well, I said something like, well, it takes one to know one, because I've been there and done that. But I was at the gun range, and I set up my camera, and I had popcorn because I was at the ranch house and had nothing to eat, and I was starving. And and then I was like, oh my gosh, it worked. So a lot of that was kind of accidental. But it's kind of fun. Like, I've got one now. I kind of do them even if I'm on the road. I've got a funny one that's going to come out where, you know, Maren Morris came out because someone touched her bottom. So, you know, first of all, who says bottom? You know, I do. But I have a story where I can go, Maren, I know how you feel.
Someone touched yours.
Yeah. A gay guy.
Oh.
I would imagine.
And he lit me up, y'all.
Yeah.
And it's a great story.
I would imagine a lot of women come through to male country artists and grab them. I've heard a couple stories of that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer that over the really beefy gay construction worker guy. Yeah. And it wasn't a touch. It was a straight up lit me up.
How do you respond to that?
I think I said, ouch. You know?
Yeah.
I think I would just be like in shock.
I was in shock for sure. When you turn around and you're like, wow. You know, the whole suspenders with no shirt and ripped. You know, you're like, oh.
And that should be a very personal thing to do. I can't imagine just going up to someone that, you know, obviously I know as an artist that I might be a fan of, and doing that, it doesn't seem like that should be a normal human response.
No, I told him. I just told people, they're like, what was he thinking? I was like, I don't know. He saw my Wranglers and temptation just got the best of me.
Seriously.
But the thing about it is, too, there's another thing that's funny, is like, people talk about concert etiquette. We need to address something. Concerts are fun.
Yes.
and they involve alcohol.
Yes.
And things happen. I 110% believe there should be no throwing of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been pelted with bottles, phones. Phones are the worst.
I can imagine
Drunk
that hurts.
chicks and their phones. Oh, we played this Mardi Gras thing. And I went down to take a selfie with these girls. And they're throwing beads, right? Mm-hmm. This girl whips me right in the face with her beads. My lips, it busted my lip.
No.
Yeah, so what did I do? I just kind of, like, here's the deal. Hey, my hero, Nolan Ryan, was pitching to Bo Jackson. Bo hit a line drive back, hit Nolan in the lip, busted his face open. Nolan's got blood all over his shirt. Guess who pitched the rest of the game? Nolan. That's some John Wayne stuff.
Yeah, that's badass. Yeah.
Yeah. And so for me, you have to understand it's a rowdy atmosphere. Now, if I do have someone acting like a complete jackwagon, I will secretly go over to security. Sometimes I will take a picture of the person with my phone. This is my trick. I will take a picture of that guy. I'll go over to security during a fiddle solo, and I will say, hey, that guy,
Needs to go.
take him out back and tase him in the face. Okay? That guy. Let him have it. Just tase him. Because it's like, if that guy's disrupting, I'm not so much worried about me, but if he's fighting people. But my thing is, I have no sympathy for those guys, but I handle it a different way, and that's just because I have a little experience with it. But you also can't get up there, if you're gonna get up there and start slinging beers, you open up the floodgate for a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but to each his own. Yeah. I mean, the rowdy thing works too, but there's,
It sets a precedent. It's like, oh, this is fine. I can also take beers and toss them. And chug them.
I've also been the stupid kid out in the crowd. So I'm not judgmental. When I make these tailgate talks, I'm not judgmental.
But I think that's why it's okay when you do it, because, you are a dad. So people, respect you in that sense because of your position in your career. People respect you.
I think it comes off as genuine. Like, I think there's some talk out in the social media world. Both of us are always scanning the internet, which can be a bad thing, probably more often than not.
Yeah.
But I know, we've talked about Gavin, and we've had him on the podcast twice before, maybe more, but I think just twice.
I called him a big old naughty pup.
That'd be a good description.
Yeah.
But there's some people that say that, like, he only gets in on stuff and starts sharing his opinion because he wants to get, into the news cycle.
Yeah.
But I think with you, it's just like, you're just talking about a point. You're not trying to necessarily further your own self through it. You're just
I think that the core of what I'm doing is that I have a nice little social media following. I'm trying to be better at entertaining them because that is the world that we live in. I'm embracing social media. It's like, I've been asked, what are your thoughts on artists now just going straight to the top? And I'm like, I think that's cool. I mean, like, Ty Myers opened some shows for me, a year ago. And when my booking agent said, what do you think? I was like, well, you need to get this kid in venues that are not 21 and up because they're going to eat him up. They're going to love him. He's great. Hudson Westbrook. And people are like, well, do you think it's fair that these young artists, and I'm like, what's the word fair? Like,
different experience.
Here's the deal. Is it fair that we get to live in this modern era where we have air conditioning and running water versus what they had 100, 200 years ago? I mean, what's fair? You know what I'm saying? Like, we get to live in an era where there's not a draft and you're forced to go to, I mean, you can talk about, I think it's really cool. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, for me, like, I was looking at, like, I thought it was a really cool thing to experience to watch Hudson and Ty, where both of them had this just explosion. And like, I swear to you, the next week they're selling out Billy Bob's. Now, Billy Bob's, when I was those boys' age, you had to play the White Elephant Saloon like a million times, which sucked. 4 sets a night. And then you got to, after you could establish yourself at basically the White Elephant Saloon, I feel like then you got to go open some shows for other artists at Billy Bob's. And, you know, it was you had to work your way up the ranks. And so for me, I think it's really cool that there's these new opportunities. But at the same time, I don't know that that necessarily makes it easier on kids. I think there's a lot of competition out there. So, you know.
And I feel like the faster you rise, the easier it is for you to fall too.
Absolutely. I tell those boys, I'm like, dude, you need to hug every fan and love on them and thank them and thank them and thank them. And, you know, fans are gold. Country music fans are solid gold. I mean, I believe in, I live in a little town. I'm a small businessman. My fans that's my clientele. Those are my customers. It's no different if I had a landscaping business. I want to take good care of them.
Yeah.
Cut no corners.
But with you sharing your opinion on social media, I feel like artists have taken a like to you and shared theirs. However, they're doing it in a way that it's not always the nicest, honestly.
Yeah.
Everyone already has an opinion, and they're sharing it, especially on the controversial topics, and just going with it. And I think, not even just talking about Gavin, I'm talking about like other artists. Like, I mean, Benjamin Todd had gone in on it. Paul Cawthon, like the list goes on and on now.
Yeah, some of those guys get a little bit salty. You know, I think I'm friends with Benjamin on Instagram, and so I've got to hear him. He's really good.
Yeah.
You know, Paul, obviously he's great. I think that's kind of how some of those guys are.
Yeah.
They're a little bit cranky, you know. You know, I know the deal with Charlie Crockett and Gavin going on. Like, I don't know. I know people that know Charlie. I could say things. I mean, I could say some things. And I'm sure that there's people that know me from way back that could say some things. So I'm not out to like hurt anybody's career. You know, I do have a problem with an artist saying another artist is not authentic. That's a bold statement.
Especially without knowing them. Because, like, how do you know then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, I think I may have shared this online, but maybe I didn't. Like, I remember Thomas Rhett came out, and I heard some of his, you know, first couple songs, and I was kind of like, I didn't know what to think of him. And I was like, kind of not my cup of tea. But then I played a show with him somewhere in Wyoming. He was literally, I'm like, he would be one of my buddies growing up. We would have played ball together. We'd hang out. We'd play music together. And, you know, it's just kind of like, I don't know. Not everybody has, you're allowed to like Mexican food and Italian food, Thai food.
Yeah.
You can like other flavors. I mean, I can literally sing you, you know, about every word to Waylon Jennings' Honky Tonk Heroes album, which was mostly written by Billy Joe Shaver. And I can probably quote you every lyric to Dr. Dre's Chronic. You know, your bark was loud, but your bite wasn't vicious.
And something,
you know,
that I had
it's good stuff.
It is.
Something I had I had firsthand experience is, you know, I liked pop country before I liked Texas and red dirt country. Like, something led me there.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
necessarily proud of it when I listen to it now, but it's like I had to listen to that in order to appreciate what was to come.
Yeah, I mean, and I was talking about, my ADD takes over, I'm sorry, but Thomas was the nicest guy.
Yeah.
And you hear him writing songs that he wrote for his wife. Okay, so it sounds a little poppier, but who is this guy to say that's not authentic?
Yeah.
For crying out loud. I mean, that's a bold statement. First of all, there are some of these guys on social media, And 1 second, they're posting pictures of them on stage with huge crowds. Huge crowds. How awesome is that? What a blessing. Mm-hmm. They're selling out shows every night. And then the next morning, they're posting things about how they're almost this persecuted individual. And it's a constant flex. And I'm like, well, what are you?
Yeah.
You probably just made $100,000 last night. Mm-hmm. And now you're whining. Outlaws don't whine. They don't whine. And there's a lot of whining. And my thing is this. There's also a lot of guys that are like, they're claiming their roots. Here's the deal. Me and all my Texas buddies that have been playing shows in Texas, making a living, doing our thing, regardless of what mainstream thinks or anyone thinks. We do what we do. That's what Waylon and Willie did. Mm-hmm. But we've all been playing in Texas for 27 years. There's a lot of these guys that claim these Texas roots, and I've never seen their posters up. Ever. But I'm not going to call them out. Like, that's not my thing. But I will say, like, hey, like my thing with Charlie Crockett, like, I really like Charlie Crockett's music. Mm-hmm. I like it a lot. And I don't understand why some people say, oh, it's not authentic. In Charlie's defense, like, why can't he just, it's okay. He was into, like, I have some pictures of Charlie from back in the day. I've had people send them to me that aren't, and I'm not going to post them, but one of them, he's wearing a kitty cat hat, no shirt, covered in glitter. Well, I don't know what the story is behind that picture. It may have been something on Broadway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which would have been really cool. And he's singing in subways, and for me, just because he went that route, that doesn't mean he's not authentic. Maybe he has developed his craft, and maybe when he was a young boy, and I'm making all this up, so don't be mad, Charlie. But maybe he used to ride around in a truck with his granddad listening to Ernest Tubb and Lefty Frizzell like I did. And maybe as he got older and he matured, he realized just how fabulous that music is. Mm-hmm. And that is what was in his heart now versus, I used to listen to a lot of stuff. And as you get older, you change. Mm-hmm. So also why I don't know. Could Waylon rope and ride? I don't know. Could Merle? I don't know. It doesn't change the way I feel about them. Mm-hmm. I'm not going, if I'm going to watch them at a rodeo, then I guess I would hope that they would be good at what they do. But I don't like Waylon, Merle, Willie for their roping and riding abilities, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that Charlie can be an entertainer. And yes, everything looks like it's vintage Western wear. I hate polyester. People that wear polyester pants, my mom made me wear polyester pants for most of my life at church. They're itchy. Those are some nasty britches. So for me, I'm like, I got my old Wranglers. But I will say this, in the same way where I don't think it's fair for people to say that Charlie's not authentic, Charlie had his no shirt, covered in glitter, kitty cat hat phase. I'll show you all the pictures afterwards, but I'll never share it because that's not my thing.
Yeah.
But he had that phase where it was him. I don't know, that could have been Broadway. But he had his phase where he was entertaining a different clientele, and that's what it is. Mm-hmm. What is the clientele you're entertaining? Mm-hmm. And he was probably just trying to make a buck and survive, maybe eat if he was broke. So he was doing his thing in New York trying to survive, and he was young. And he has been given this opportunity to develop as an artist over the years. Some of these young artists that have signed record deals, you feel like they're saying that they're not authentic. I mean, at some point, these young artists need to be given the same amount of respect to develop. I mean, let's go listen
and time,
to... And time. Let's go listen to the early Waylon records. Folky music. I think one he sang with the Kimbros, and I listened to that record, and I'm like, that's not the Waylon that has that four on the floor thing. So artists need time to develop. Like, I love a lot of the George Jones, Merle, Willie stuff when they got into their 40s. I feel like that's when their vocal cords really got it. And that's my plan. Now, now I'm ready. I finally have matured. It just took me a long time.
How do you feel about your very first albums?
Oh, they're rough.
But typically what I've noticed is like you go back and listen to, like I'm a big fan of Jimmy Buffett, and you go back and listen to his first album. Similarly, it's very folk.
Yeah.
But you hear the little hints of what he
What's
became.
to come.
And so I'm assuming that you can also say the same thing.
Some of my early records are, first of all, I was limited with my budget. I paid for a lot of this stuff by myself. But I hear songs now and I'm like, oh, I sing that in the wrong key. And oh, my chorus, oh, this, oh, that. And I also, though, I show my oldest boy, Jake, and I'm like, dude, I sound like I'm 12. Like, what in the world? But it's growth. And every young artist, they should get that. But it also, it separates the artists, because those artists that are willing to grow and change, evolve. I mean, George Strait records do not sound the same today as they sounded, back in 81. They sound different. And I mean, I'm sorry, but the Beatles, every record they put out sounds different. I mean, I don't know,
Is it wild for you to think that you've been doing this for over 20 years? Like, to be able to look back on those first albums and say, wow, like how far I've come from that.
It's crazy. And it makes me so thankful. But I also truly, like, I have so much more to offer. Like, I'm now just vocally, I am finally coming into my own. I don't know if my mom always called me a late bloomer. Because I wanted to be able to grow sideburns. And I'm like, Mom, I'm 20-something years old. And she's like, you're just a late bloomer, baby. So I guess I'm a late bloomer on a lot of things. But I feel vocally, I'm really coming into my own. And as a songwriter, I mean, that is the thing that makes me dangerous as an artist now, is I don't care. That makes me very dangerous.
I agree.
I don't care. And also, my house is paid off. And I can truly go for broke. And like, I'm in Nashville this week, not looking for a record deal, but building my own label again. And they can't tell me, no one can tell me you can't put out music or we're not going to do this. Like, I'm behind the wheel. And the fact that I have grown this business and this fan base, and I have the means to make those decisions, and the fact that I can wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, make coffee, and go sit out on the back porch and write a song all by myself makes me very self-sufficient. And that's what I encourage my kids. My oldest son and my daughter, they love music, and I'm like, you have to be able to play and write, so that you don't have to depend on a publishing company to give you hits. And I've pushed myself to be the best songwriter. I've gone back, I listen to the hits, and I take some good things from them. But I also go back and I listen to the masterpieces that have stood the test of time. And so that's so exciting for me to be this far into my career and go, oh, imagine this. Imagine me at my age putting out the best record of my career right now. And guess what? Willie did it. Redheaded Stranger redefined his, and that's the thing. I mean, that's the deal. It's like...
And you're known for being the independent artist. Was that a desire of yours was to always be independent, or were you trying to shop around at first and then it just ended up not working, so then you made it work?
I mean, so the first time I came to Nashville, I met with Radney Foster flew me down here, and I'm a big Radney Foster fan. I love his songs, and he flew me to Nashville. I was in college. He got a hold of some songs I'd written, and he took me, and I met with Tony Brown and Mike Dungan. No, not Mike. No, I met with Mike another time, and Mike told me that I didn't have what it took. That's a different story. In my defense, this is like 20-something years ago. It was Tony Brown and Tim Dubois, and they had a label. Mm-hmm. And I sang them some songs. They said, we really like what you have. We would like, I'll never forget that I think Tim Dubois said something like, we would like for you to move to Nashville. We'll find a way to, I think he said, fund your habit. And I did not know what that meant. And I said, well, I don't want to move to Nashville. I have a band and we're playing shows in Texas and I'm really growing as an artist there. Could I play my shows and then fly up here, crash on somebody's couch? And that kind of wasn't an option, which kind of rubbed me wrong. And also, too, I'm so lucky that I was coming up in the era that I was coming up, because there are so many artists that I'm friends with here, and this is the gateway for their career. Mm-hmm. For me, I didn't have to have Nashville because there are guys like Willie and Waylon already paved the highway for Texas music. And, then you had Robert Earl Keen and you had Pat Green. And I mean, I'm hitting these dance halls and the honky tonks and we're packing the house. Mm-hmm. There's nothing. I mean, I've gotten to headline the Houston Rodeo in front of, 60, 70,000 people, but nothing's better than packing dance halls and honky tonks. I guess that's why they called me the honky tonk kid or whatever. But mm-hmm. I just felt, I'm so lucky that I had the opportunity to be self-sufficient, and I just grew the business. And I'll never forget, our album Real Good Time accidentally somehow charted top 10. And I said to myself, what if we actually tried and we were strategic? Maybe we could have a number one album. So I did meet with some labels. I met with Toby Keith's label at the time because I have a lot of respect for Toby and his songwriting and just his career. I met with a couple of the other majors, and I told every single one of them, I said, hey, this album's called The Underdog. I do believe that this is going to be the number one album in country music, with or without you. But I would like to do some type of, partnership mm-hmm. where y'all could help me push a few of these songs to national radio. None of them would. So I just said, screw them. And we put it out, and it made history. Number one album. Now, some people will say, no, Martina had the first independent. No. I love Martina McBride, by the way. Mm-hmm. But when you are so big that you get to go by just your first name, she put out some jazzy album, which it's amazing. But I'm like, that's not an independent artist. You can't. That's the equivalent of like George Strait coming out with his own little independent album, and he's like, no, negative. Like, if I wave the flag for independent artists, mm-hmm. you can't. Yeah, I know the struggles. I've lived it, so it's like I don't know anything. Don't ask me anything about being signed to a label. I know nothing of that world, but I do know my world. So, but I've been very fortunate. There are artists that are way more talented than me. I see guys all the time, and I'm just like, why don't they have millions of fans? Why me? I think that all the time. Mm. Why me? Why do people like me? Because I'm just being honest. Like,
and I think that's the healthy way to view yourself in the industry.
Yeah.
In order to, keep going. And mm-hmm. you're like the perfect example of perseverance and hard work, builds a fan base. And it's crazy to see, even now you're still coming out with more music.
Oh, yeah.
And like you said, you go in the back back porch and write yourself for this new album. Lots of songs, which you're actually pretty consistent with having a lot of songs on your albums. That's not something new for you.
Yeah, I actually think one of my best albums ever is this album called Red Bandana, which starts off with a song called The Ghost of Guy Clark. And it was this like vision I had of me singing Guy, this kind of poppy song that I'd written. And you'll have to go back and listen to it. But it was like, it's me singing Guy, this poppy song that I wrote for mainstream radio, and he hated it. And that's what the song's about. But we put 20 on that album, and people were like, you can't put 20. And I did. And then all of a sudden, everybody starts putting out. It was a coincidence.
I noticed that when I was going back today to just like go through your.
But I love to write. It's literally my golf. It's my hunting. It's my fishing. It's my hobby. You know, it's my shopping. I love it. It's my favorite thing. It's.
And how do you feel about co-writing then? I
like it too.
You like it too?
I just don't have the opportunity as much because I'm stuck out in Buffalo Gap, Texas. But I love to co-write. I have friends here that I like to write with. I built a ranch house just for songwriting. That was pretty. It's my favorite place. It's like literally my favorite place. So that's where I do a bunch of the tailgate talks.
Okay.
Yeah, but songwriting is just, you know, I really geek out over songwriting. You know, you know, it's so cool to see like I saw Steven Wilson and Lucas Nelson doing this thing together, and I was just like, God, you know, which is crazy. This really ages me. I was texting Lucas Nelson, and I said, do you remember when you were at Camp Champions, when you were a little boy, me teaching you how to play the intro lick on the song Poncho and Lefty? And he was like, yes. I was like, I am old.
Wow.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah, and Steven Wilson, I mean, he plays, my word.
And he just got his first CMA nomination, which is crazy too.
I wrote about that because it was, you know, he's a new artist nominee and he's 46 years old. But it's like just a cool story that like you can still be a new artist at that age.
Well, that's the beauty of country music. Pop music, they turn them over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're Beyonce, and she is the queen. My favorite videos I've made that just get people's panties in a wad is I will look at the camera and I will say something just ridiculous like, Beyonce is my generation's Patsy Cline.
Yes.
Because, you know, people say blink twice if you're not okay.
Yes.
And I say these things and people go off on me. And that's where you know I'm dangerous, where you can trash me. And I'm either going to laugh at you or completely agree with you. Like someone might say, you are an idiot. And I'll be like, you don't know
the half of
everybody.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
You got to be able to poke fun at yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, I get to make music for a living.
And I liked that sentiment on your latest video of
we're so freaking lucky.
Everyone in the industry, even us who get to work in the industry and get to be around music
that we love
all the time. Yeah. But I get to sit down with you and talk with you like, you know.
And I love music. It's everything to me. I can't get enough. Like I get like my face just got chill bumps because I get so excited about music, and I have all my dad's old vinyl records, and I've got these cool vintage record players. I'm always looking for old record players. I've got this one that was custom built in 1962 by this oil man in Midland, Texas, and he wanted to have the nicest record player in the world, and it's still all original. It's a huge console. It's 9 foot long. I mean, I could turn it up so loud it'll break glass. But I love sitting there. I get to listen to my dad's old records. I sit down with my dad still, and I listen to my daddy's old records. And my dad is such a music geek. But I can look on the back of these records, and he'll circle songs that he likes, and then circle plus sign on the songs that he really likes. And I have all that, right? And I just love music. And so I naturally love people like y'all that have a passion for the music. And what's wild is that you're giving me an opportunity. Here's the facts to everyone watching this. an artist. Y'all are giving me an opportunity to share my brand of country music with people who don't know who I am. And what an opportunity for me. And, you know, and I think it's also important that people know that I am an independent artist. I mean, it's so important to support independent artists. Mm-hmm. I would say go support other independent artists before you support me, because my house is paid off now. So go help those other indie artists pay off their houses, because they don't get the financial support from labels. And there is a difference. I will argue with anyone about that. Mm-hmm. And you don't actually want to argue with me about those things. Like, I have been independent for 25 years. I've also had a #1 album. I've built a label. Like, I could take any of these labels in this town and I could make them successful. First thing I would do is go down in the parking garage, and everybody driving a $200,000 car, I would fire them because they're getting paid too much. Mm. But you don't want me. You don't want me. You don't want me run. I mean, but the thing about it is I'm so lucky. Mm-hmm. And I let people know that, hey, like, for instance, I say every night, we've got merchandise over there. Just want y'all to know that all the proceeds from tonight's merch sales go straight into my wife's purse, and I get nothing. And they love that. Mm-hmm. And it's also the truth. It's how I take care of my family. Mm-hmm. So I'm always going to favor the mom and pop coffee shop over Starbucks. Mm-hmm. That is just who I am. Mm. So I'm always going to favor that independent artist that is out there hustling. And there are so many of them back home in Texas. And I'm always going to favor those guys because I get it. And because someone needs to speak up for them.
Do you mind sharing a couple of those artists that you like? That are, I know there's a lot.
Like, golly.
Because I mean, even us, like we get the same kind of group that we share all the time, you know, whether it's Braxton Key. Oh, you know, yeah. We love Randall King, those honky tonk.
Oh, I love music. Randall. I love all those guys. But like the guys that I grew up listening to and playing shows with, like, mm-hmm. you know, Kevin Fowler, mm-hmm. you know, Roger Craig, I mean, the legends. I mean, Gary P. Nunn. I mean, those are the guys that showed me you can do this as an independent artist. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many even great female artists out there. I mean, you know, Courtney Patton, Jamie Lynn Wilson. I mean, you could go on and on and on. Like, yeah. Part of me, I hate to even say names because they're going to see this maybe and be like, thanks for not naming me, jerk, yeah. you know? But there's so many. And that's one thing that I'm glad you said that, because I have had this idea of kind of doing this like Texas Tuesday mm-hmm. deal where every Tuesday maybe I share an independent artist's spotlight. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you said that, because I'll do that just because of you guys.
That's a good idea.
But there are just so many great artists out there. I mean, I did this
because I'm selfishly asking for recommendations as well.
Ooh, I'll start texting y'all. But I'm the same way where, you know, there are, and I'm really good at spotting young talent. I mean, I took Cody Johnson out on a lot of shows back in the day, and I remember telling everyone, like, dude, that boy's going to do some big things. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Randall King. You know, I play shows with some, you know, younger guys, and I'm just like, oh man, you know, these guys are going to do, you know, some really big things. I mean, it's like some of Jake's little buddies, and I'm like, man, that kid sings like George Jones already, you know? But I love the fact that I won't name names, but I've had a couple kids come to me mm-hmm. and have me look at the record deals they've been offered from major labels. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I would use this as toilet paper. Like, this is just a bad loan.
Yeah.
And they're not going to push a single to radio until you get 50 million streams.
And then you don't own any of it either.
Yeah. How do you get the 50 million streams? First of all, I look at some of the #1 songs on country radio, and they don't have 50 million streams. But yet these kids are expected to have 50 million streams mm-hmm. before a label will invest in them. Well, that's the equivalent of, like, we talk about the small mom and pop coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
That's the equivalent of that. There's a successful little mom and pop coffee shop, and they want to franchise. So they go to an investor and say, hey, we think we have something where we could franchise this and take our coffee to cities around the U.S. Well, that's the equivalent of that investor going, well, franchise your store, make it blow up, and after you're the most popular coffee shop, come to us and then we'll invest in you. No. That's not like once upon a time, people invested in young artists because they saw the ability, not like, oh, you
need the success.
Labels
first.
that are like TikTok this, TikTok that. I'm like, oh my gosh, shut up. Get out there, put your music online, but get out there and play shows. Play. Even if you think it's not financial, get a guitar and go play because you can actually give someone a hug after a show. I mean, social media is so saturated. I mean, and ADD takes over for all of us. There's so many times I get on to look up something and then I see something and I'm just like, usually it's baseball or hunting and I'm just like,
yep.
And then I'm like, what was I? So my deal is go play live because that also is going to make you a better singer. You get to see the reaction.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is what separates a lot of, newer artists from veterans in the industry is how many shows they played, their willingness to live out of a van for a month and just
go play. And it's so fun. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I was a Boy Scout, so I don't mind sleeping in a tent. But it's so fun to get out there on the road and play shows, truck stop showers. Dude.
Not a lot of people get excited about those, but I guess there's a part of it that would
adventure.
Yeah. And I think like just going off of what you've been saying, like everything just feels so numbers driven. There's no like feel. There's no like gut, I think, anymore. True. It's just like you have to have proven yourself somehow statistically for a label to then invest money into it. Rather than, like you said, just I think I've got a good feeling about this person. But there's really not that much of that anymore.
Oh yeah, there's not that at all.
Yeah.
You can't see heart and soul when all you're focused on is did something go viral.
Yeah.
And I mean, Zach Top, I think it was in 2019 or I remember I started following him and I remember showing my oldest boy Jake, I'm like, dude, look at this kid. And I told Jake, I said, what I like about Zach is he has that bluegrass foundation, which was which is what made Ricky Skaggs, and what made Keith Whitley. Those boys that can play those bluegrass songs on an acoustic guitar, the moment they pick up a telly, they shred. And he's got that high, lonesome vocal. What it blows my mind is if I was the head record executive at some big label, I would have signed that boy right then and there. And he just slipped through the cracks over and over and over again. And then a small label picked him up. Mm-hmm. But the fact that a talent like that slips through the cracks, it should tell a lot of artists this. Don't depend on someone else to achieve your dreams for you. You need to take the bull by the horns, and you need to work hard and get after it. I mean, I bet you right now, if I brought my album, Horse Named Texas, to a major label, and I could say, hey, I've got the money, I've got the bus, the band, all you have to do is this right here. I bet you they would pass on me. That's craziness.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how you run a business.
Yeah.
And when I hear that, like, I don't know, I've heard different numbers, but like 90-something% of artists don't succeed at labels. Like I'm like, that's bad. That's a really bad batting average.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Definitely. And I think to me, it's like everything is or like with Zach Top, he sounds different than what everybody else is doing. And I'm sure part of the reason why he slipped through the cracks was because, you know, a label or a focus group was like, well, that's not the sound that people want to hear. But you don't know what people want to hear until you put it out there.
Man, I listened. So I was walking into a label. I have a buddy that works at the publishing company, and a guy walks out of this label, and he's like, "Hey, Aaron, do you remember me?" And I was like, "You know, oh yeah." And he said, you know, your album, The Underdog, and then Vaquero, and what your single did, Out of Style. He said it showed us that Texas music would work outside of Texas. He goes, you really opened up some doors for people. And I said, thank you. That is, you know, where's my royalty check? But that's crazy that they were even thinking like that. Because Texas music, I mean, is George Strait not the king of country?
Well, yeah.
Like
Willie Nelson.
And also, you can't put music in a box. Were the Beach Boys popular in Kansas? I mean, was West Coast rap popular in West Texas? Yes. Like, it's just so crazy that sometimes people can be so one-dimensional or short-sighted. So I really, because I've made enough mistakes, it goes back to, like, hey, y'all, you can't really say that Charlie Crockett's not authentic because, you know, he wasn't born on the back of a horse. But also, Charlie, you really can't say, it's not fair for you to say that this artist is also not authentic because he's young and he signed a record deal. Like, Charlie, you were given the opportunity to go from, like I've said, the kitty cat hat phase to now he is the Elvis of that Western cowboy vintage sound, which I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I mean, and guess what? He's not the first guy to do it. Like, I'm a big fan of Del Watson. You know, there's the Derailers, Wayne the Train Hancock. Those guys were doing that sound, that vintage sound 30 years ago, and it was vintage back then. But my thing is this, is like, I don't know, you probably get Gavin and Charlie together at a bar, and they probably become buddies after they fight, maybe. But there's nothing wrong with a good old fight. I mean, but I've, you know, I mean, I don't know how many times growing up, me and my buddies, or me and some dude, we get into a scrap, and then we become buddies.
I've heard with some friends, it's like you have to fight them in order to be your friend.
Yeah, guys are stupid idiots like that. And that's what I tell my daughter. We are just, yeah.
And in
all you girls, us guys, we are idiots.
And in the therapy world, there's a saying that two things can be true. So there's the social media thing with all these artists. It's like this or that. No, both things can just stand alone and be truthful. Yeah, but that's hard. That doesn't get as many ratings. No,
it doesn't. It doesn't. And that's, and also, so let's talk about the genius behind the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're stirring the pot. So, Gavin, Charlie, you are working the system. And, you know, I might get in there and stir the pot, you know, and be like, because I can spit some facts. I could, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I can start going, ooh, easy now there, young buck. And I can also say to this guy, no, you know? And so it's fun, you know, and somebody might get cross with me. Let's go.
It's always great content for us. I will say that.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it is. You know, people talk to me a lot about, like, I mean, I'm not trying to downplay the Charlie Gavin thing, but that's just kind of small fries to me, you know, sneaking into Bobby Bones' studio and then getting literally kicked out by security for trespassing. But you do what you do. And a lot of things are driven by passion, and
didn't hurt anyone.
It didn't hurt anyone. Well, stressed me out a little bit.
every podcast episode, we touch on the industry a little bit. And I think I say we could spend a whole hour talking about it. But with you, we actually got the opportunity to, which we weren't even planning. I think I wrote down so many questions about,
well, ask. I'm here for y'all.
So many questions about your career, from literally from the beginning to now. But I'm glad we got to touch on some more of what's to come, because we love looking back and also talking about the new music.
Well, I'm thankful to be here. So this last year we got to play the American Rodeo with Post Malone. And I had a moment on stage that was a first for me, where like I kind of feel myself getting like emotional talking about it. But I walked out onto that stage, and it's a stadium packed full of people. And I looked at my son, who was playing guitar for me. And I looked at all these people, and I literally just said a little prayer. And I said a short prayer, and I just said, God, thank you for this opportunity. And I meant it with every ounce of me, because I was up there with my boy, and then my whole family's right there watching me. And it was just, it made me realize that life is short and sweet. And every time I get to be on that stage, it's a blessing. And there are millions of artists that would give anything to be in my boots right here, right now. So I don't know what God has planned for me, but if it's playing sold out shows at dance halls, or shows in stadiums, fairs, rodeos, or to 50 people in a coffee shop, I'm going to give those people my very best. And I want it to be more than the music, And that should be every artist's goal, is to give the fans more than just music. Bring them happiness. They're working hard. They're paying a lot of money for tickets. Like, let them forget about all the crap that you have to deal with in the real world. Entertain them, make them happy. And, there's a lot of great artists out there doing that. And those are the ones, from the small venues to the stadiums. I mean, who's the, oh gosh. People always think that I dog on some of these certain artists, and I'm like, no, I don't dog on any of them. Bailey Zimmerman. That dude cracks me up. And he is like just one of the little punks that comes over to my house and plays poker with my boys every night. He's happy. He's thankful. He's always like, I can't believe I get to do this. There's a lot to learn from that guy. Because while he might be making pop, rock, country, the way he shows appreciation for a old honky-tonker like me makes me go, I like that kid. He got out in front of one of his semis, and he goes, I can't believe that's my face on the side of that semi. Dude.
It's like you'd rather have someone like that than someone who's...
than some old bitter honky-tonker who's genuine and... Come on. Like, what's not to love about what... That kid literally said, I was singing in my basement, and now look at what I get to do.
Yeah.
Dude, absolutely 110%. Like, it's more about the heart. I've had people come to my shows and say, I'm not the biggest fan of your music, but I love who you are. And I'm like...
I mean, that's
Thank you.
Yeah.
Your character.
I wish you liked my music too. Listen, I hate your face and I don't like your songs, but you're a really nice guy. And I'm like, oh God, hug me, But they don't say that. But I'm happy to be here, and I've got this 5-year plan where, like, dearest country radio, you're going to be seeing a lot of my face, and then I'm probably going to hand the keys over to my boy Jake. And then my daughter Jolie probably is going to come out with one song and sell more tickets and have more streams than I had in 30 years, and she'll probably be on here with y'all, and you'll be like, well, Jolie, tell me about where you came from. And she's going to be like, well, my dad was like this little country singer guy, you know?
Yes. That's the goal. That's what you want.
Absolutely.
And it's awesome that you get to have your kids by you.
It is so awesome. And then my middle son, Jack, I mean, probably I'll be getting loans from Jack because the kid's 17 and owns 3 ounces of gold and like 250 ounces of silver and has stock. And he washes the bus and has a power washing company and all these things. So Jack is probably smarter than all of us. And I'll be like, hey, buddy, do you want to fund my record? You know, but I'm just so blessed. And at the end of the day, country music has allowed me to give my kids and my wife a wonderful life. We go to Disney every year. Thank you, country music fans. I mean, that's the deal. Like, I will straight up. There's not a lot of things that I will fight someone over, but if it comes to our veterans or school teachers or babies or country music, I will freaking throw down with someone. Like, that is, you know, that's.
I think that's a perfect note to end on.
That's right. Good things to stand by for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for
Thank you.
you know,
awesome.
sharing your insight on the industry. I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy hearing you talk about it and your perspective.
Well,
can you
thank you.
please share where everyone can find you if they don't already follow you everywhere?
Yeah. I mean, I'm on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and X and blah, 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 blah. But there's AaronWatson.com has all the information, obviously. And I'm on all the streaming platforms. And my next single coming out is called Pontiac.
Okay.
And I will text y'all it. I'll let you hear the songs first.
Perfect.
I have it on my phone right now.
When's it coming out?
I think here in the next month.
Okay, perfect.
I should know that. They told me yesterday. It's going to come out the second that thing comes out. It's going to be out.
Okay.
And it's an exciting time with all the new music coming. And then just let us know whenever you turn your Tailgate Talks into a podcast. We'd be happy to be on it. So.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. We'll do that.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Y'all are
And can't wait
lovely.
for the new music.
Thanks for all you do for country music. Y'all are
Appreciate it.
awesome.
Thanks.
Hope that was okay.
Okay, perfect.